This is The Black Death, a mystery play by Frank Cunningham, directed by Joel Schoenberg.
Dr. Marshall Hamilton, played by Mickey Hutt.
Dr. Henry Lowry was played by Marcus Paul.
Judith Hamilton, played by Cameron Jones.
Tara Bradley, played by Sydney Ford.
Jane Dunn, played by Ava Frescura.
Mars has always held a peculiar fascination for the people of what we call the Earth. Is there life on the planet of war? If so, what queer cells have been spawned in Mars' atmosphere, and is it possible for the organisms that dwell in far-off space to surge down on our planet, bringing with them cosmic doom? Tonight, we go to the private laboratory of Dr. Marshall Hamilton. Dr. Hamilton is talking to his assistant, Dr. Henry Lowry.
You see, Henry, by making that slight change in the curvature of the lens and using my own process of molding the glass, I'm able to get a closer picture of Mars than any astronomer has ever had.
With this telescope, Dr. Hamilton, we should see things of which man has long dreams. Perhaps we can solve the secret of the canals, tell if there is life on the red planet, unlock the mysteries of our neighbor in space.
There are things, Henry, that are better left unknown. Terrors that should ever lurk in the vastness of space stay there unrevealed to the mind of man, and stay there forever.
If we're sure they'll stay there, Doctor.
That's right to the point, Henry. Remember what Shakespeare said of the war god Mars?
Let's see, in what play was it?
Henry IV?
I can't say that I do, Doctor. I was never much for any quotations except the stock market ones.
Remember this one, then. It may fit not only the god, but the planet. The mailed Mars shall on his altar sit up to his ears in blood. That's what... Who's that?
Just Judith, Father.
Oh, yes. What is it, my dear?
I just thought I might rescue Henry from the old ogre. Remember, we have a date tonight, Father.
Yes, of course, I did forget. Well, Henry, you and Judith run along.
I don't want to break up the conversation, sir.
That's considerate of you, but I haven't anything else to tell you now.
I'll be glad when Father gets that new telescope off his mind, Henry. That's all he talks about.
And you won't ever let me take a peek in the eyepiece, will you, Doctor?
Not yet, but sometime in the future I will.
Let's leave Father to his work, Henry. We'll have to hurry to get to the dance.
Don't mind me, just run along. I'll wager, though, you talk about the stars.
Thanks, Doctor. I'll run along, then. Anything I can do for you?
Just take care of my daughter.
You bet I will.
You bet he'd better. Good night, Father.
Good night. The mailed Mars shall on his altar sit up to his ears in blood. In blood.
What luck do you have, Jane?
So, Tara. Ought to make a Sunday section story when you're short of a copy about glamour girls, graying gigolos, or haunted houses.
By the way, it's about time the Sunday Ed run that feature you got on that new telescope. That was a pretty good yarn, Jane.
Yeah, he was planning to run it last Sunday, but that breakfast food ad shoved me out of the way for a week.
Well, if it wasn't for the advertising, there wouldn't be any sheets, so I guess.
So you guess you'll let me have a cigarette. I'm out.
Okay, Jane, here's one.
Thanks, Tara. Why don't you start smoking my brand?
All I read is a red suit, a pair of whiskers.
A ream of reindeer, an icebox for a home, and you could play Santa Claus.
I'm Santa Claus, all right.
My, and to realize that I once doubted the old gent's existence. Glad to meet you, Santa Claus. My name's Jane Dunn. I'm from The News. What's the dope on?
Sorry, Miss Dunn. I never speak for publication, and you can't take my picture. I think I go back to the North Pole now.
Before you go, you might leave me a couple of extra smokes. I'll buy you a pack tomorrow, honest,
There's the State Department phone.
Let Watkins answer it. What's a state editor for?
I've often wondered.
I'll answer the blasted thing. I guess Watkins is covering some pageant for a college brawl in Maryland. Hello? Yeah, this is The News. No, this isn't Watkins. There isn't nobody from the State Department here. Can I take a story? Sure, sent it in by carrier pigeons. I just bought a bag of peanuts. Who am I? This guy'll be asking me if my great-grandfather was married to Emily Smits of Pottsville next, and if so, why? Yes, I'm listening. I'm Jane Dunn, Sunday feature writer. So you're Stanley Smith, the Waterville correspondent. Well, nice to know you, Stanley. I think I was with you in Africa. Oh, so you're not the same Stanley. Thanks. For a minute I was confused.
Can the chatter, Jane. I see the managing editor coming down the hall.
Yes, Mr. Stanley, Smith. Now, what's the story? Of course it's all right to telephone, but better use overhead most of the time. Go ahead. Wait a minute till I get some paper. Toss over some paper, Tara. Thanks, okay. Shoot me the lead. Waterville, Delaware, November 18th. Special to the news. Go ahead. Struck down by a mysterious malady, 6 local citizens died here tonight, and a reign of terror has been thrown upon the small seacoast town. Doctors have been unable to diagnose the cases, and specialists are being rushed from Wilmington. Say, this is a good story, Stanley. Keep it coming. The only explanation for the black wave of death came from Dr. Marshall Hamilton. Yeah, I got the spelling. Who stated he thought the deaths the result of a Martian activity. Dr. Hamilton, noted private astronomer, whose new telescope is claimed to be sensational, stated tonight he noticed unusual disturbance on the planet's face several days ago. Listen, Stanley, did you see the doctor? Okay, keep right on his neck. Sure, shoot all the stuff in you can get. Got the list of casualties? Fine, just a minute.
Say, here's a swell yarn. 6 people dead, reign of terror, invasion from space,
Hey, Riley, get in touch with the managing ed, and listen. Clamp this headphone over your ear and take the rest of this story down.
Okay, Jane.
Listen, Stanley, I'm putting Riley, a rewrite man, on the wire. He'll be here any minute. Shoot him all the dope. Thanks, kid.
What's the rush? Let's see how the yarn turns out.
Grab your feet off that desk, Tara, and get that ink-smeared mind of yours working. We're heading for Waterville.
As you know, Miss Dunn, Mars, which revolves over 141 billion miles from the Sun, is our nearest neighbor. We have found out much about the planet. Its year is composed of some 687 days, and its day is half an hour longer than ours.
Yes, that I know, Dr. Hamilton. But what I want to know is why do you think these deaths, I understand there have been several more since I arrived at Waterville, are caused by Martians?
First of all, I want you to understand that at the present time I have no absolute proof.
I don't want any proof now.
Well, you knew, of course, about my new telescope.
Considering I got the story right here in your home, I ought to.
Not having seen the story in your paper as yet, I thought perhaps you didn't consider it good material, and—
Quite on the contrary, Dr. Hamilton. We were holding the story until we could get a good play for it.
Disregarding that, I'll continue. Some days ago, about a week, I saw flashes from one of the canals on Mars. Flashes that might have been caused by a violent explosion.
Why didn't you let me know?
I didn't think you'd be interested. Anyway, why aren't you people in bed?
It's too terrible, Father. I can't sleep. Henry and I.
Judith, this is Miss Jane Dunn of the News, and this is Dr. Henry Lowry, my assistant.
How do you do, Miss Hamilton? I have had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Lowry.
Thank you.
Where are the rest of the newspapermen?
It happened that I'm the only outsider that's arrived here as yet. That is, except Tara Bradley, also on the news. She's out now with Stanley Smith, our local correspondent.
You're just an early bird, Miss Dunn. The others will be here soon. The press are right where the body is found before it's had time to.
This is terrible, Father. You shouldn't talk that way.
I'm not jesting. I'm merely stating a truth about the press.
We won't debate that point, Dr. Hamilton.
Sit down, Judith. Sit down, Henry. I want to finish my story for this fine lady. Now, as I said, Miss Dunn, I saw the flashes.
If only you had a picture.
Fortunately, I managed to catch one of the flashes after a number of tries in vain.
I knew something was worrying Father these past few days.
I'll see that you get a good sum for the picture rights from my paper.
I'm not interested in the money, Miss Dunn.
All the better.
With these mysterious flashes in mind, I read with interest of several waterspouts that were seen off the coast of Delaware yesterday.
Then you think these spouts were caused by—
By the Martian projectiles hitting the water. Yes, that's Dr. Hamilton's theory.
It's certainly fantastic.
Everything is fantastic, Miss Dunn, when you can call the skies into your living room. At least, Father says so.
Judith doesn't appreciate my true love for the stars.
It isn't that. It's just that you spend too much time
We
on—
must not quarrel, my dear. Miss Dunn isn't interested in my private life.
Now, how do you connect up these occurrences with the deaths?
That is something I can't prove. Tonight, 6 people here died horribly. Suddenly they turned a ghastly black, and in a few minutes they were dead. The doctors here were unable to find any traces of known poison.
But why does that hook up with Mars?
Why? Well, I haven't come to that yet.
You'll have all the information Dr. Hamilton knows about it soon.
Maybe you better tell him, Henry.
Well, sir, I can't really say that I know.
You just came from the beach in the back of my estate, didn't you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. I just ran into Judith, and as she couldn't sleep, we came down here.
You might not believe my story, Miss Dunn, but Mr. Lowry can back me up.
Dr. Hamilton told me about it, Miss Dunn.
It? What's this it business?
The wreckage that Dr. Hamilton found washed up on our beach.
Wreckage? Don't tell me that you're hunting lost treasure.
It may be a treasure from hell, Miss Dunn. That wreckage, scattered as it was, contained some elements, some metals that are not known on Earth.
And they
are from Mars.
God, I can hardly think it's true.
I'll show you some of the material. Henry, you go get it. No, I'll go myself.
That's all right. I don't mind getting it.
I know where it is. You can talk to Miss Dunn.
Want me to go along with you? I'd like to get the analysis you made that showed strange elements were present.
You'd better stay here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You might fix a drink while I'm out, Judith. Just be gone a few minutes.
Father is all excited about what's happened.
Who isn't? Suppose the death spreads and sweeps through all of Waterville,
Then it might get outside, and there'd be an epidemic of horror.
I think we'd better get a drink before we get into the gory details.
I'm sorry, Henry, I did forget. What will you have, Miss Dunn?
Oh, just anything.
I'll mix you up an old-fashioned.
That's too much trouble.
Not at all.
I wonder what the people, or could I call them people, that were in the projectiles are like.
That I couldn't say. Nobody's seen them.
No, we've just seen the result. That horrible Black Death.
How much, Miss Dunn?
Middle-sized one.
Does make one rather squirmish. After all, we've no way to combat the menace. It may sweep over Eastern America before our chemists begin to solve its mystery. Here's the drinks.
No, thanks. I don't care for one.
Thanks.
Well, here's to the press. And if you get an interview with the Martian, ask them if their infernal planet is anything like Edgar Rice Burroughs pictures it.
And after this drink, I'll be seeing Tarzan racing along the Delaware sands, I suppose. Well, here goes. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Now, let's get back to the Martians. Apparently one of their machines was wrecked, but there are others. Is that right?
Father thinks several projectiles escaped damage.
Now, assuming that, how did the Black Death get to Waterville?
That's hard to say, Miss Dunn. Dr. Hamilton believes that the invaders from space lose some germ cell that caused the deaths.
Why?
Do you mean why the theory or why the malicious actions on the part of the space people?
Well, both, I guess.
The flashes, the missiles in the water, the wreckage, the new elements,
All add up.
Right. As to why the death, apparently the visitors aren't peaceable folks like we are.
I'd better get in touch with the office again. I can't tell how the story will turn out. Mind if I use the phone?
Not at all. There's one on the table in the corner.
Why don't you wait until Father gets back?
That's a thought. Then I can tie the story together better.
I think I hear him coming now.
Does sound like him.
He's certainly opening the door slowly. Poor Father's so tired he hasn't much strength left.
Well, Mr. Lowry, here's where I get my pencil and paper in action on those new elements.
Oh!
Anything wrong, Miss Hamilton?
Look, Father! He's turning black! The death! The Black Death!
And then Dr. Hamilton collapsed, Tara.
Where is he now, Jane?
He's upstairs. Darn queer all this.
I wonder who will be next.
I hope those Martians don't like newspaper woman. That Black Death isn't the most pleasant way to leave this life of tears.
This damn stuff is giving me the creeps.
How many did you say were dead in Waterville, Tara?
Over a dozen now?
Where's Smith?
He's trying to get some dope on the last 2 deaths.
What kind of guy is he?
Funny duck. Seems to get a fiendish glee out of the whole affair. Running around excited and chuckling all the time.
Listen, Tara, do you think he had anything to do with this? What else does he do besides act as our correspondent?
Well, he used to be a crack chemistry student at the University of Delaware, but got bounced out of the college for some reason.
What's he been doing since?
Well, let's see. All I know is he landed the correspondent job here. All I know is he left school about 3 years ago. He landed the correspondent job here, and he sold a few short stories.
What kind of stories?
Wild stuff. He had a couple in the pseudoscience mags last month. One in Interplanet Monthly and one in Cosmic Traveler. It looks like...
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm kind of suspicious of that kid.
He's okay.
Possible, but a half-cent-a-word correspondent with a vivid imagination might get wild ideas in his head.
Just for the dough, eh?
It's been done before, and... It's Miss Hamilton.
Oh, Miss Dunn, you'll have to help us. It's so terrible.
What's wrong now? Is your father worse?
No, he's become conscious. Who's that?
Oh, pardon me. This is Tara Bradley, my coworker.
If I can be of any help, Miss Dunn, let me know.
I don't know who can be of help. The doctors are puzzled. They haven't been able to do a thing and just left.
Miss Hamilton, I want one thing. Let me have your father's analysis of the Martian wreckage.
But I can't.
Can't? Your father had gone to get it when the Black Death struck him.
I know that, Miss Dunn, but the analysis papers and bits of wreckage are gone.
Gone?
So the proof has disappeared. Can your father talk now, Miss Hamilton?
Yes, but
Then I'm going to see him.
you...
Want to come along with me, Tara?
Sure, but this Black Death, is it contagious?
We'll find that out.
It was like that, Miss Dunn. When I got to my laboratory, I went directly to where my analysis had been placed. I got the paper and the bits of metallic wreckage to bring to you. Then I went out and I was locking the door.
Go ahead, Father.
I saw a jelly-like mass loom up before me. Where it came from, I can't say. Quivering tentacles whipped out of the loathsome mass, and it flashed. The mass, the paper, and the shattered bits of wreckage were gone.
Then you came down to the room where we were?
Yes, Miss Dunn.
And you were too scared to cry out when attacked.
I was so stunned that I couldn't. My vocal cords were paralyzed. That menace from Mars is in this house somewhere. It may be in this room, now, waiting to put the Black Death on another of us.
Please, Father, don't excite yourself. Please lie back in the bed.
Do the doctors think I'll live? Has anyone lived that's been touched by hell from Mars?
I'm going to be frank, Dr. Hamilton. No one who has had the Black Death yet has lived. Sometimes victims linger for several hours. Sometimes they die almost immediately.
Stop, you shouldn't tell him that.
Quiet, Judith. It's best I know.
Do you think this is contagious, Doctor?
How can I tell? But I think not, Miss Bradley. There must be actual contact with the Martians before it can be transmitted to one.
Then there must be more than one invader loose in Waterville.
I fear that there are many. But why should one enter my home? Why should one seek me out as their prey? I wanted to be friendly. The secrets of Mars should be for humanity's profit. Humanity's profit. Where's Henry, Judith?
He's downstairs, Father. At least, I think he is.
Lowry. Henry Lowry. That's who let the Martians in. He did it.
Hush, Father, you're delirious. Henry has done nothing.
Yes, he has. Humanity's profit, Henry used to say. Dr. Hamilton, you are an old idiot to believe that humanity can be improved. You shouldn't do anything for humanity's profit unless it profits you. That's it. His greed has betrayed him.
I think we'd better go, Dr. Hamilton. We're upsetting you.
Get Lowry. He's the one who can help us. Make him tell.
Father's delirious, Miss Dunn. Henry isn't involved in this.
I heard you, Judith. I heard you. Henry isn't involved? Then look at your newspaper friend. Look at her. Look at what Henry's done.
My God, Jane, you're turning black. The Black Death has struck you.
Oh, the pitcher. I knocked it off.
Didn't I tell you? Dr. Lowry's in league with the invaders. He's done that to you, Dunn.
Good God, keep away. Tara, Miss Hamilton, keep away from me.
But
It looks like this story's broken right over my head.
I'll get another doctor, Jane.
It won't do any good. I'm doomed, just like Dr. Hamilton is doomed.
Good Lord, what will happen now?
Get Lowry. He'll tell you, Lowry.
Listen, Doctor, I've got a hunch. Did you know a Stanley Smith, the local correspondent for the news?
Yes, I knew him. A funny young man used to worry me with some fantastic theories he had concocted. I didn't pay much attention to him, but he and Henry used to talk a lot together.
Tara, you stay here. I'm going to get a hold of Stanley Smith and Dr. Lowry. This thing's coming to a showdown.
You can't go out in the streets like that, Jane. You look...
I know, and I'm not going out. I'll get Smith by telephone. Show me the nearest one, Miss Hamilton.
All right, I'll go with you.
For pity's sake, take it easy, Jane.
Don't bother about me. See you in a minute.
Suppose, Dr. Hamilton, this disease spreads over the country?
And over the world, Miss Bradley. Death everywhere, death striking out from across the vastness of space, organisms unknown to our medical science which will wipe out man's civilization.
It's incredible.
And those flashes that I saw on Mars were destined to be the greatest menace we have ever had. If only we had knew what was back of the twinkling stars. If only we knew.
And went mad?
Lowry has betrayed me to win the favor of the invaders. It's a terrible thing he's done to me.
To you? What about the other people? What about the dozen or more dead bodies that lie in the morgue of Waterville? What about Jane Dunn? Jane Dunn, as fine a woman as ever lived. She's doomed like all the rest.
And there's no telling who will be the next ones to die. The Martians seem to play no favorites. I am growing weak for myself. I can feel it. It's like the bed slipping from under me. Fading like a fog before a fresh breeze.
Pull yourself together, Doctor. I think somebody's coming.
Here he is, Doctor. I have him.
I can't understand. What's the matter?
Lowry, you betrayed me to the Martians. You caused the Black Death to fall on us.
It's a lie, sir. Why, this is outrageous.
Look at Dunn. Any minute now she may drop dead. Just because of
But I couldn't have.
You did, and...
I know. The rye. You gave me some rye to drink. It was poisoned. Poisoned with that hellish concoction from space.
Damn you, Lowry. I'll beat the...
Sit down, Tara. Sit down. I'll take care of this.
That's how you did it.
Dunn, you're crazy. I drink the rye. Nothing happened to me.
It's you and Stanley Smith.
Where's Smith?
I couldn't get an answer from his phone.
Let me go. I didn't do anything.
Lowry, I've been suspicious of you lately. You were jealous of my success with the new telescope. You knew your mental capacity was below mine. So you turned against me, leagued yourself with this horror from space to triumph over me.
Can't you see? I'm innocent. I didn't do anything to Dunn. I drank the rye, and I'm alright. The Black Death hasn't struck me.
It's because you made yourself immune to it, Lowry.
I'm going to call the police.
Hurry, before this fiend kills all of Waterville. My strength is about gone. The excitement is too much. Telephone the police. Telephone.
Here's Judith.
Father! The death! The Black Death! Oh, Judith!
Judith, she's got it.
Judith, there, Judith.
It's beyond control. It's gotten out of bounds. Judith! Quick, the cabinet!
The cabinet?
The blue bottle, get it. It'll save you.
This cabinet?
Yes, that large bottle.
I have it. Quick, Judith, take some. Then give it back to me.
Yes!
The story's broken, Dr. Hamilton. Why did you do it?
Yes. I guess you've caught me.
If you didn't know what the Black Death was, you wouldn't have known a cure for it.
Dr. Hamilton, you!
Something went wrong. The Black Death got beyond me. Judith, how did you get it? What could I have done? What could I...
She's safe now. She's taken the antidote. And here goes mine.
So I was trapped by my own invention.
But the Martians?
There weren't any. I made the story up. I just added the facts and built the rest of it. There wasn't any wreckage.
Father, I can't believe it! The Black Death struck you down!
I struck myself down to throw off suspicion I had taken enough of the antidote to keep me from death. I would have been well within a few days.
But me? What about me and Smith?
Stanley Smith is just odd enough to cause suspicion. You, Lowry, I just got tired of you. You and all the rest of humanity, except Judith. I wanted to see them die. They're worthless. They're like beasts with their little brains, unable to fathom what really exists in this universe. That's why I made the Black Death. That was my discovery. Just a few chemicals that the medical world knows nothing about, a change in the pigment of the skin, and the Black Death.
Judith, your father's gone mad!
And I put the chemical in the whiskey, but first I had given Lowry the antidote. That's why he wasn't affected, but somehow it got out of my control. Judith, it attacked Judith.
Henry, get Father the antidote. Hurry before it's too late.
Keep away from me, keep away. Done. Throw me the bottle, toss it on the bed. There's enough left for me.
You better do that, Jane. If we come closer, the excitement might kill him.
Here's the bottle, Dr. Hamilton. Watch it. There, it landed right beside you.
Thank you, Dunn. Thank you. Remember, Henry, that quotation from Shakespeare?
Yes, from Henry IV.
Remember how it went? The mailed Mars shall on his altar sit up to his ears in blood. Here's to Mars!
Oh, the bottle! He's broken it!
The Black Death! It has killed him.
Oh!
It was for the best this way, Miss Hamilton. Your father's mind had cracked. It is better that he died.
I guess so.
But, Jane, the Black Death, how did it attack Miss Hamilton?
Oh yes, Tara, that is something I forgot. Just played a hunch that worked, that's all. Miss Hamilton, when you get the chance, you'd better clean that powdered graphite off your face.